What's going on, y'all? I'm Brandon Atlanta Man Bang coming to you live right here, Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, with the first episode of the 2023 season of Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Rubbin' is racing, grubbin' is tasting. Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. I'm glad to be back. Had my holiday season off. Glad to see Lawrence, LB, the crew up here at Coach's Corner, John Henderson. Everybody, glad to be back, man. So we're going to get right into it. We don't have long, y'all, before we get back to seeing those cars go round and around on the track. We got, 18 days till the Clash, 32 till the 500. I cannot wait to get into this NASCAR season. But if it's your first time tuning in, we like to start the show out with a little game we like to play. So we call this the word of the day. So basically, if you're over the age of 21, every time I say this word, Lawrence is going to throw it up on the screen, LB. Whatever it is, I have no idea. Every time I say it, take a sip of your favorite adult beverage, take a shot, beer, whatever it may be. Play along. Have a great Wednesday night. It's hump day. If you're under the age of 21, I always say it's age appropriate. Look, man, you're coming back off the holiday. You probably still got some candy canes tucked off or something. Hey, man, play along. Get a soda, Red Bull. Get hyped up on Wednesday, man. So getting right into it with that NASCAR news, like I said, we don't have long to go at all before we get back to that Clash. Doing some things a little bit different there this year, going to be awarding medals.
Come on, man.
So we got some kind of different feels about this out there in the social media community. I don't really have a problem with it. It's not the first time they've done it. I've seen it done before. But at the end of the day, it's kind of neat. I mean, it's a one-of-a-kind event, kind of start the season out, get the season rolling. So at the end of the day, I mean, hey, if you want to award podium, do some podium stuff. I mean, do I want to see it regular season? Nah. Playoff championship? Nah, I don't want to see any of that. There's only one guy that wins, either your first or your last. Ricky Bobby said it best, y'all. So getting into it, man, going to be a big year, 2023, 75th anniversary of NASCAR. I was around for the 50th for sure. That was a pretty neat deal. Came out with a lot of cool memorabilia you can collect. But speaking of memorabilia, before we get any further in the show, y'all probably see this picture back here behind me. We got something really neat we're going to try to do this season. We're going to try to get to 250 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So if you haven't yet, go out, like, subscribe to Rubbin' and Grubbin' on YouTube. 250 subscribers, we're going to give away this helmet, this authentic Kyle Larson helmet. I mean, this thing is legit. If you notice, it's basically like the one he wore in the back here. It comes with a certificate of authenticity signed on the visor for you by Kyle Larson himself. 250 subscribers. Make sure you hashtag Larson in the comments. That's going to be key. But we're going to pick somebody at random to go ahead and take home that awesome helmet, man. So like I say, make sure you stay tuned in all year long. A lot of big things going down on Rubbin' and Grubbin'. But 75th year anniversary, a lot of cool stuff's going to come out. Make sure you stay key. And to me, if you want my honest opinion on the whole season, I think we're getting into probably one of the best we've seen in a while. I think that year two in the next gen is going to be a little bit better. I think these engineers and teams, race teams, have had longer to figure this car out through R&D and through different data. So I expect the best to rise this season. I think we're not going to be anywhere near the amount of winners we were last year. I still think we could come close to a dozen. I'm going to go under 12 winners this year in NASCAR. You heard it here first. I'll take the under on that one. But, still going to be a good season. A lot to look forward to. We've got some different races at different times. I know Atlanta, which me and LB is getting ready to head up to there here in just a few months in March. Got the night race going in July. That's going to be awesome. We got other events going down. So North Wilkesboro, I mean, there's just way too much going on, man. But at the end of the day, I expect an amazing, awesome 2023 season for sure. What the hell? I mean, screw it, man. I don't want to drop the F-bomb. Hadn't even had any beers. Throw the swear bucket in there. Throw me $1 in there, man. But at the end of the day, it's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see it. 50th was great. 75 would be good. Just Chase needs to go ahead and bring home that second championship. It's going to be amazing. So Petty GMS, man, hey, no more. Petty is no longer a name in NASCAR as we go as ownership as far as, branding. That name change came out, Legacy Motorsports. I think they could have done a little bit better job, something a little more marketable. 7-time was one of my favorites that I saw. 7-time Motorsports is awesome. They're also both 7-time champions. Some initials, JPG, whatever it may be. A little bit better choices out there, but at the end of the day, I'm glad to see Jimmy going to try to make his run and get that ownership role in NASCAR. I think it's very important. I think we underrate the things that we saw from Jimmy Johnson in his career. We don't talk about the greatness enough. that he was able to create for himself through NASCAR. So there again, glad to see Petty having a name like Jimmy Johnson join in. Know the money's going to flow. No sponsorship shouldn't be an issue with guys like that. I expect them to maybe take a big step forward this year. They got 2 young drivers there with Eric Jones and now Noah Gragson coming on. Very marketable. A couple different, styles of racing, the way they go about things. We all know Noah Gragson, the problem child out there. He's rowdy. So like the personality difference, I think they're both very young, talented guys. And then when you throw a 7-time champion like Jimmy Johnson in there, you add that drive into the mix and just how he prepares and pushes. Who knows, man? They could be back to winning races in no time. I mean, we saw them get one last year, so maybe multiple wins for that team this year. We'll just have to wait and see. Kevin Harvick announcing full-time retirement, man. Kind of crazy to think about. He's been a part of the sport for about 10 years after I started watching it. But one of the most iconic, memorable things I remember is watching him win that race at Atlanta, beating out my favorite all-time race car driver, Jeff Gordon, very shortly after the passing of Dale Earnhardt Sr. I think it was his 3rd start. I think it was Daytona, Rockingham, I think Phoenix, and then Atlanta. I think it was his 3rd start. But from day one, the man's been a legend. I mean, he was wrote in the history books right then and there, not to mention the career wins, the championship, just the competitiveness at the age. I think this is a guy that we've seen come on later in the career, and it's been a long time since we've seen that in the sport, a guy just get better with age, and I think Kevin Harvick was that guy. I'm not saying he wasn't good to begin with, but did ride the roller coaster through the early part of his racing career there. And to come back and still be competitive. I want to see the 4 definitely do a lot better this year than what he did last year. Got to be competitive out there, especially on your farewell tour. I think it's very capable with the equipment he has. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But yeah, Kevin Harvick, man, the man, the myth, the legend last year. So if you're near a track, make sure you go out, pay your dues, your homage to a definitely first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. Little Chase Elliott news.
Come on, man.
Y'all, I can't go too long without talking about him. Got a new paint scheme this year, so I think last year's is a little better. I don't know about the hash marks in it. I don't know. I'm a fan either way. We could have done a little bit better, but we're gonna see, man. I don't really care as long as we win multiple races and a championship this year, we get it done. I'm gonna be happy, man. I'm looking at over and under Chase Elliott wins this year. I'll take over 6. I'm going over 6. You heard it right here. Over 6 for Chase Elliott this year. Getting more than last year for sure. I'm telling you, he could have had 8-9 last year for sure. Travis Pastrana, man, making the comeback to NASCAR to try to attempt to qualify for the Daytona 500, which I think in the equipment, the 2311 equipment of Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan, he shouldn't have an issue with that. I think they're going to have speed. So this kind of coincides with something else I got later on in the show to talk about. But Travis Pastrana is coming back. It was on his bucket list. The man's a legend in all kinds of different motorsports. I mean, motocross for sure, rally. I mean, the man's done it all. He's a freaking awesome dude, great personality for motorsports in general. So hopefully he qualifies. I'm going to say he does. There shouldn't be any issues there barring rain, which would really suck, and I don't know how they'd figure that out. But at the end of the day, hopefully he gets in, through his qualifying races, does his thing, makes that 500, man. So, big shout out, Checkered Flag for charity this year, y'all. Me and Lawrence are still in the works of who and what we're doing this for. It might be a couple different organizations this year. But there again, we will have a lot of neat things, like I said, going on. We've got Cooler Full of Joys coming back for these concert events. We're going to have some race tickets themselves to give away. We're going to have some packages, beach package. We're going to have possibly some UGA tickets here later on down the road, maybe some Braves tickets. We're going to do some things a little different this year that we're going to be raffling off here for our charitable causes at Coaches most of the time during these concerts. Some will be at special events, but make sure you guys tune in, stay tuned, stay updated on it. Like I said, big shout out to Jonathan and Dale Henderson as always, man. They are so awesome for allowing me to come up not only and do the NASCAR show, but just be a part of the Coaches family. I mean, it's amazing, man. So we're going to pause for station identification right here on Coaches Corner Sports Network. Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. Cheers, y'all. All right, man. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Arborman Tree Service sponsoring that Who's Hot and Who's Not. Big shout out to my main man, Parker Eccles, out there. You're going to see that name with that phone number scrolling on the screen all night long. Awesome dude, locally owned, locally operated, insured. Any kind of tree service you need, like I say all the time, doesn't matter if it's full tree removal, getting some stuff trimmed back, getting stumps removed, ground down, whatever it may be. give Parker a call. That's your man over there, Arbor Man. So big shout out to him. As I like to say, no job too big, too small. Give Parker a call. Love you, dude. I'll see you tomorrow. Get with you, man. Talk to you. And man, we got that race. Parker comes up, and I think somebody else coming up with him too. Another good buddy of ours. So we might have a real good time in Atlanta for sure, man. So getting into the who's hot. I mean, starting it out, we hadn't even seen any race in action really in NASCAR yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and repeat. Joey Logano has got to be number one on the hot list to start it out, right? I mean, the 2022 champion, I mean, it's an oval. I know, man, I know it's an oval. Look, the man got the championship. I didn't think he was going to get it. I thought Chase Elliott was, to be honest. I mean, but Logano stunk it up, man. He dominated that race. He earned it. And like I said, I think starting out, Joey's in the prime of his career, 32, 33 years old, been doing it a long time, got a lot of experience, a lot of different generation cars. I think right now is the best Joey Logano that you're going to see. So we ought to really pay attention close and see what happens here over the next 3, 4, 5 years. But as long as he can keep it locked in with Pennzoil and Penske, yeah, I think he's going to have a lot more success, man. So number 2, Chase the Bulldog Elliott, man. Y'all think I was going to let this go too far, man? Come on. Number 2 on the list. Got hot there, I think, at the wrong time, which I didn't think was going to happen. I thought they were never going to falter. I think it was going to be like them Georgia Bulldogs this year and just straight, pedal to the metal, win the national title, never look back, never falter. And they did. They got in the playoffs there, went a little cold in the rounds there towards the end. That really mattered. And hey, he did his best, man. I mean, anytime you finish inside that top 4 in a NASCAR season, you got to, pat yourself on the back. Hopefully it makes him more hungry. Hey, man, like I said, dogs win championship. Chase Elliott wins championship. So let's make that happen, man. Go get him, boy. Ryan Blaney, man, he's going to make the hot list start the season out. And I know it's another Ford, and I am a Chevrolet guy. But at the end of the day, Ryan Blaney showed a lot of promise last season. I think he's had better seasons in NASCAR, I think, if you ask me. But just the speed that Ryan Blaney showed is going to be a factor this year. If they can maintain that speed, have a little bit better luck, put themselves in position towards the end of races instead of the beginning of races, I think that they're going to be doing a lot better, more consistent things with multiple race wins for sure. So at the end of the day, there again, you heard it here first. Ryan Blaney, multiple wins this year outside of the All-Star race. We're talking point-paying races, multiple wins. Look for him maybe make a little deep playoff run. We'll have to see if he can get it together and get all the stuff in line to do it. But I don't see why not starting the season out. So who's not? And this is not dissing. This is just observation and things that I see. And everybody has opinions. They're like, what they say. I ain't going to say it. We'll just throw $1 in there. But at the end of the day, I think Ross Chastain is going to take a step backwards this year, y'all. And I hate to say it. I think the guy is a really talented race car driver. I think that he proved last year what he's capable of to be able to go out and do the things that he did and contend and win the races he won and show speed week in and week out. I'm going to pat Trackhouse on the back all day long. I think that's remarkable. I think they're headed in a definitely right direction. I just think that Chastain takes a little bit of a step back. I'm not going to say like huge, like he doesn't make the playoffs or anything crazy like that. But I just think from what we saw last year, that's possibly one of the best seasons he's going to have for the next couple. I think that what we see from the leaps and bounds with the next-gen car, what we're going to see this year is going to kind of separate them a little bit from the Hendricks, the JGRs, and the Penske's. Just gonna separate them a little bit, and that's no fault of their own. I just think that comes down to it. Now I might be wrong. They might come back and they might dominate some races and win more races again this year. I don't know. I'm just making observations and estimated guesses, and this is one of them. So, like I said, look for him to have a down year. Another one that's going to catch people off, Denny Hamlin, and I don't mean this in a real bad way, but Denny Hamlin's going to have a little bit of a down season this year too, and we're going to touch base more on that in just a little bit for sure. And at the end of the day, the rookie of the year this past year, Austin Cindric, I think I look for him to take a step back this year. Really good equipment, really good, young, talented race car driver, not taking anything away from him. But if you go back and look at that season last year as a whole, minus the Daytona 500, it's not an amazing season by no means. So I think there again, we're going to see some other guys step up this year compared to step down. Cindric's just going to be one of those guys that take a step backwards. And like I said, I could be wrong, but we're going to find out here in 18 days of the Clash and 32 to Daytona, man. We're going to find out. So getting into it, man, this is another little sponsorship deal we got going. Awesome Redfin polarized sunglasses. doing the money line, man. Look, doesn't matter whether you got money on the line or a wall hanger, make sure you see it clearly with the best polarized sunglasses on the planet, man. Italian frames, Carl Zeiss, awesome freaking polarized lenses, man. Like I said, whether it's in the woods, on the water, on the lake, anywhere, man, make sure you live life fins up with Redfin polarized sunglasses, man. These things are awesome. Not to mention, you go on their website, check it out. You can use Rubbin' and Grubbin' to get 15% off at checkout, man. So that's an awesome deal. Really appreciate Redfin jumping on board, man. It's awesome to be a part of that family as well. They're only getting bigger and bigger. And like I said, these are Lawrence's. I didn't bring my set tonight, but at the end of the day, I absolutely love them. My favorite pair of sunglasses I've ever had. If you hadn't seen them yet, go check them out and make sure, like I said, live life fins up for sure, y'all. So getting right into that money line. And the only thing we're really going to talk about is what me and Lawrence are willing to do at the start of the season, right? Like we're talking championship odds right now before we even get started. You know, we're looking at maybe right around 300 units, okay? 400 units maybe, all right? So that being, we're going to bet 100 units on 4 different guys start the season out to win the championship, all right? So number 1 on my list is going to be Chase Elliott. I mean, he's a championship favorite, plus 550 coming out. I'll take that all day. I mean, you know he's going to be there. He's going to contend. So I'll take that. Now, what really caught me off guard was Joey Logano. I think they had Joey Logano opening up at 1,200, which is insane to me. Just won the championship last year, showed consistency throughout almost the whole season. So I'll definitely jump on that bandwagon as well. That's a little bit of a better bet. Another guy we're looking at, Ryan Blaney. Like I said, the 12 car, I think, has another strong season, plus 1,000. The odds aren't bad this early. I mean, why not take a gamble, right? Now, the ultimate gamble we're going in on, and this is just throwing it out here, could be like the biggest, craziest thing ever. Austin Dillon, all right? Austin Dillon's actually done Rubbin' and Grubbin' before. Big shout out to Austin Dillon. Really appreciate that, brother. That's awesome.
Rubbin' is racing and grubbin' is tasting.
Look, man, they got this man at plus 20,000, all right, which is insane odds to me. I look at it like this. You got Kyle Busch coming over. You know that Richard Childress is definitely going to put some money back into that organization to help rebuild it with the talent of Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon being there. I expect them to be fast. We saw glimpses of it last year. Tyler Reddick, I mean, showed what they're capable of. So there's no reason to think that the 3 couldn't make it, man. So, look, 75th year anniversary. 3 car back with a championship trophy at RCR. I mean, it could just be like a Cinderella type season. We never know. So I'm looking at that one. That one's looking pretty good to me, man. So getting ready to get into that hard right turn sponsored by Lamar's Body Shop, man. You guys, I'm telling you right now, 35 plus years taking care of Savannah's auto collision needs. Doesn't matter what it is, man. Make sure you go check Lamar out. Right up here, 2301 Skidaway Road, not far from Coaches. Like I said, man, make sure you stop by. Check them out for any of your automotive needs as far as body work, paint work, whatever. Lamar's got you covered, man. As I always like to say, why settle for par? Go see Lamar, man. I love you, dude. Thank you, and greatly appreciate your support, brother. Can't wait to see you again here soon, man. So this is what I was hinting to when we get back to the Denny Hamlin, and basically the hard right turn is this the new Joe Gibbs standard? All right. Anybody that's a NASCAR fan knows what I'm talking about, but if you're just tuning in, getting new to the sport, so Kyle Busch drove for Joe Gibbs, right? M&M's announced, hey, this is our last year. We're pulling out a sponsorship, yada, yada. Kyle Busch's contract was up at JGR. Long story short, finds a new ride over at RCR. Joe Gibbs' excuse was couldn't find the sponsorship. Obviously, Kyle Busch being the highest paid driver in the sport, I get it. There's some leeway there. What you're having to pay contract to him on top of sponsorship money might not equal out. But with Kyle Busch saying he was willing to work with his salary and just the things that went on, I find that a little hard to believe. I mean, there again, Richard Childress. Okay, I had a conversation with my dad. Richard Childress, Joe Gibbs, in the money financial situation as far as net worth and racing and probably the ties to the sport, but didn't take Richard Childress long at all to find sponsorship for that 8 car with Kyle Busch. So what I'm talking about now is Denny Hamlin. It's the same exact scenario in a way. Denny's been racing longer than Kyle has there, and to me was a staple of Joe Gibbs close to as long as I can remember outside Bobby Labonte and Tony Stewart, and some other guys. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, that's what it is. Denny Hamlin kind of propelled Joe Gibbs into the era of the Kyle Busch and success, if you ask me, in a way. And at the end of the day, I mean, Denny, I could be wrong, but FedEx leaving, Denny's contract's up. I kind of think that Denny sees the writing on the wall. 3rd entries this year over at 2311. There's no reason to believe that Michael Jordan money and Denny Hamlin money can't come together and get a 3rd charter, and start up that 3rd team, and Denny move right over there and retire there driving his own stuff. I think it would pay dividends not only in the ownership aspect of it, but it'd also pay dividends in propelling 2311 to be competitive into the future. I mean, we know Denny's more than capable behind the wheel. He's still got good years left in him. We saw it last year. And I just think that, is this the new standard at Joe Gibbs? That's what I'm asking. I mean, to me, I don't see there's anything wrong with it, as long as heading into that year, like I think it should be Joe Gibbs going to Denny Hamlin and going, hey, man, look, FedEx is done. After this year, your contract's up. That's it for us. I mean, I believe in giving the man the respect before we even start the season to get it done, right? And I think he's one of those guys that would stand in, do the best he could, just like Tyler Reddick did. So that's what you do as a professional athlete. So, with that being said, who knows? Maybe that conversation's already happened. We don't. But there again, it's not a bad way to end relationships. I just think there's better ways out there to do it. I mean, but you wait till the end of the contract, you wait till sponsorship's up, and you cut it clean. I mean, I get it. Is the same thing going to happen to Martin Truex Jr. here in 2 years? I mean, you've got to, at some point in time, wipe the slate clean, open up the seat for a younger guy. I mean, you have to, unless you have that superstar driver that's there winning races. You've got to have some younger guys with talent to build over the next 20 years, 25 years. So 15 years, however long they may last. So at the end of the day, just a question. I'd like to hear your guys' response on it. If you're watching tonight, make sure you go hit the comment, write something on there on the show, man, about, hey, this is how I feel about that. But, I saw it with Kyle Busch last year. I'm not going to say it can't happen to Denny Hamlin, but it's headed in that direction. So only time will tell. But that's going to wrap it up there for the rubbing part. We are on to the grubbing, and I got my wife's favorite today. This is something that she's been wanting for a while. Like I said, we hadn't been up in a month, and with the holidays and everything else going on. So I did go with one of my staples here at Coach's. This is absolutely amazing. If you guys have never had them, chili cheese dogs, onion rings, man, these things are loaded up, lots of chili. There's not one bad thing on the menu. I tell you guys that all the time. If you haven't had Coach's yet, make sure you stop by Coach's Corner, Victory Drive right here in Thunderbolt, man. Got to come by, holler at us. Cold beer, great food, great times. Coach's Corner, man. I'm telling you all the time. Big shout out to John and Adele as well, as always. Love them to death. Didn't get to see him tonight. I gotta shoot him a text, call him too. But, hey, getting right back into it, man, I want to give a big shout-out and thanks to everybody for starting out this 2023 season. Arbor Man, Lamar's Body Shop, you guys are absolutely amazing. Coach's Corner, as always. Got to give a big shout-out to Redfin, as always, man. Those guys jumping on last year, I just think that's an awesome deal. So got to send an email out to them, too. We want to do some things with our T-shirt, but I want to make sure it's okay if we can or can't with them. So going to be in contact with them. But at the end of the day, man, got to give a big shout-out to all those guys. They're what makes this world go round. But number one, John Henderson. But outside of that, they make this world start out great. Like I said, the charitable events we do are all possible because of these sponsors, man. We had the venue to try to raise as much money as we can for something that stays local. And that, to me, speaks volumes on top of just not only the NASCAR, the enjoyment of doing the NASCAR, raising this money for local charity. Dude, you're giving back, and that's what it's all about, man. So make sure, like I say, all the time we get this charity stuff running. They get the live music running back here in the Sound Garden. I know it's not far at all. I know there's Super Fest coming up for Super Bowl. That's going to be a big deal, as always. You got, Patty's Day, they throw it down up here. So there's a lot of events coming up always, man. Make sure, got to give a big shout out to the other shows on Coach's Corner Sports Network. Got to give a shout out to Hot Grits out there. Travis Judon himself, man, puts it down like a shitty baby. You know he always does, man. Awesome. If you haven't heard it yet, you can stream Hot Grits podcast anywhere you stream your podcast, man. Comes out a new episode every single Tuesday. Make sure you pop that in, man. It's a good listen. Travis does a really good job, man. And I think I'm going to get Travis up on my show this year, talk a little NASCAR here and there. He's not too keen on NASCAR as far as keeping up with it. And I'm going to hop on his show, too, here at some point in time and drop some knowledge on him about the NASCAR. But love you, dude. Hope everything's good. Hope you had a good Christmas. Got to give a big shout out to the man man, the myth, the legend himself here in Savannah, Carl DeMasi. Coach, I can't speak highly enough about the man. Just an awesome individual, knows his sports inside and out, keeping you up to date on all the stuff going on in prep sports, man. He's a busy guy. This is a busy man, devotes his time to that show, and I absolutely amazed. I watch it almost every single Saturday. So if you haven't yet, you can watch it live, stream it live on Coach's Corner. It is an awesome show to wake up to on Saturday morning, keeping you up to date, little college hoops, little local hoops, little everything, man. So every Saturday morning, 9, right here at Coach's Corner, Thunderbolt, Georgia. Make sure you check that out. Coach Carl DeMasi Sports Report, man. Awesome show. I'm getting ready to get out of here, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Hope everybody has a great Wednesday, man. Like I said, not long, we're going to be talking about action that happened on the track, not only what we're looking forward to for the season. Got some big announcements coming up in the future here over the next few weeks as well for Rubbin' and Grubbin'. So there again, thank you guys for the support. If you haven't yet, like, share, follow, all that social media out there, man. Hey, like I say all the time, hug your loved ones, give them a kiss. Tomorrow's not granted, man. Hope everybody has a great Wednesday. Love y'all. Oh, can't forget this. Got to start 2023 out strong, man. Wash your hands, y'all. All right.